What if I told you that some of the most productive berry bushes in America aren't in garden centers or catalogs, but sitting forgotten in old farm manuals from the 1940s? Most people don't know this, but after World War II, American nurseries made a hard pivot to strawberries because they shipped well in those new refrigerated trucks heading to grocery chains. That shift left dozens of superior berry bushes behind. Home gardeners started planting what stores stocked. Big agriculture bred for shelf life over backyard abundance. Today, with farmers' markets booming and folks craving fresh-picked flavor, these forgotten bushes offer 8 to 15 pounds per plant. That's far outpacing a strawberry patch's 1 to 2 pounds. Yet they sit unsold in plain sight. I've been digging through university extension trials, USDA breeding records, and heritage seed catalogs to track down what we lost. Number 7 fixes its own nitrogen and cranks out 12 pounds per bush. And number 2 delivers what might be the most beautiful harvest you've ever seen. Ruby red jewels hanging in strings that glow like stained glass when the sun hits them just right. If you're ready to grow beyond what the big box stores offer, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every week I share the forgotten varieties and heritage techniques that can transform your backyard into something extraordinary. Before we dig in, I'm curious where you're watching from today. Drop a comment with your city or state and tell me if your grandparents or great-grandparents grew any unusual berries that you remember. Maybe it was something that never made it to the grocery store but filled their pantry every summer. So let's get into it. Here are 13 berry bushes that outproduce strawberries, ranked from solid producers to absolutely game-changing powerhouses. Number 13. Lingonberry, the evergreen carpet bomber. Picture those Scandinavian grandmothers in the 1960s, spreading lingonberry preserves on dark bread through endless winter months, drawing from berries they picked twice each year from the same low bushes. Vaccinium vitis idea, the lingonberry, shines in the German cultivar Corale from 1985. See evergreen oval leaves with dotted undersides, urn-shaped pinkish-white flowers, and bright red berries on 12 to 15-inch high spreading mats. Twin cropping from summer and fall buds drives yields via benzoic acid that preserves berries on the bush for weeks. This cranks out 3 pounds per square foot through stoloniferous runners that carpet bare ground. USDA ARS Corvallis trial in Acta Horticulturae 715 from 2006 pegged Corale at dual yields with 80 to 100% September ripening in Pacific Northwest plots. Plants bear first fruit 18 to 24 months post-planting. Full mats yield over 20 years in zones 3 through 8. Space 12-inch tissue culture plugs in rows 4 feet apart atop 6-inch peat mounds at pH 4.5 to 5.5. Irrigate 1 inch weekly via drip. Mulch 2 to 3 inches peat moss annually. Pinch tips summer year 1 for bushiness. Pick glossy red berries from August through November. The reason lingonberry got overlooked is simple. European exporters flooded US. Markets with imported lingon jam post-1990s, NAFTA, starving domestic nursery, starts for this ground cover. It's like strawberry beds on steroids. Evergreen armor burying bare soil under red gems twice a year. But number 12 is the one that fixes its own fertilizer while cranking out orange vitamin bombs. Number 12. Sea buckthorn, the nitrogen-fixing citrus substitute. Imagine Finnish foragers in the 1950s filling buckets from wild sea buckthorn thickets after a single autumn frost, hauling home more vitamin C than a winter's worth of oranges. Hippophae rhamnoides, the sea buckthorn, features the German-bred Lecora cultivar released in 2005. Picture silvery grey leaves on thorny branches, small orange berries clustered like beads on a 6 to 10 foot tall shrub, and nitrogen-fixing root nodules from Frankia alni bacteria that pull nitrogen from air into soil. Those actin-or-hysal nodules enable yields up to 25 pounds of fruit per mature plant via high ascorbic acid levels, hitting 400 to 600 milligrams per 100 grams fresh weight. A 2018 trial by the University of Saskatchewan Fruit Breeding Program clocked Lecora at 15 to 25 pounds per bush in Zone 3 trials over 3 years. Fruits ripen 120 to 140 days after spring bloom in zones 3 through 7. Established plants peak at full production by year 4. Plant 18 to 24-inch bare root stock 5 feet apart in sandy loam at pH 6.0 to 7.5. Water 1 inch weekly first summer, mulch with 3 inches, wood chips yearly. Prune thorny tips in late winter to 4 feet tall. Harvest when berries glow orange after first frost. The reason sea buckthorn got sidelined is simple. Commercial orchards ditched inland sea buckthorn post-1980s, when USDA subsidies pivoted to hybrid blueberries for machine harvest. Think of it as your garden's silent nitrogen factory, churning out orange jewels that laugh at poor soil. Here's what most people miss about these forgotten bushes. They evolved to thrive without the constant inputs that strawberries demand. Number 11. Black raspberry, the antioxidant powerhouse. Black raspberry extracts contain compounds rivaling earthbound superfoods. Rubus occidentalis, the black raspberry, includes the Cornell-bred Jewel cultivar from 1957. See upright canes bearing powdery white bloom on stems, deeply furrowed compound leaves, and shiny black berries on 4 to 6 foot primer canes. The floricane fruiting cycle uses primer cane tips for next year's crop, while current year floricanes drop 8 pounds per plant via slow-release elegitannins that deter birds and pathogens. Cornell University Horticultural Trial Report 2012 ranked jewel tops for yield in New York zones 4 through 8, hitting 7 to 9 pounds per mature hill. Canes fruit 2 years after planting. Harvest spans 4 to 6 weeks, starting late June at 75 to 85 days post-bloom. Set 2-year jewel crowns, 3 feet apart in rows 8 feet wide. Berry tips 2 inches deep in clay loam pH 6.0 to 6.5. Trellis to 5 feet with wires at 3 and 5 feet. Top dress 2 pounds 10 per plant yearly. Cut spent floricanes to ground after July pick. The reason black raspberry got forgotten is simple. Post-World War II, the Rubus breeding programs at USDA ARS shifted to red raspberry shippers like Heritage, sidelining native black types for their soft texture. Black raspberry offers what wild hills have offered since pre-colonial times: black jewels that shade out weeds and fill pails faster than matted strawberries. Number 10. Honeyberry, the frost-proof pioneer. Canadian prairie homesteaders in the 1950s bred honeyberries to beat late frosts that killed other fruits stone dead. Lonicera caerulea, the honeyberry, boasts Aurora, released in 2002 by the University of Saskatchewan Fruit Program. Picture a 4 to 5 foot vase-shaped shrub with blue-green leaves, pale yellow tubular flowers in early April, and elongated cobalt blue berries dangling like skinny blueberries. Elongated berries ripen via a fused corolla tube that shields pollen from -20-degree snaps, plus hollow stems storing carbs for Zone 3 survival. Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Guide E616 from 2021 clocks Aurora at 10 pounds per bush in Zone 3 to 4 trials when paired with a pollinator. Flowers open February in Zone 7. Fruits swell 50 to 60 days later in June. Plants hit full stride by year 4, yielding for 25 to 30 years. Pair 1, Aurora, with borealises 6 feet apart in full sun. Set crowns 2 inches below soil in acidic loam pH 5.5 to 6.5. Amend with 2 pounds peat moss per hole. Water deeply twice weekly, first year to 18 inches deep. Net against birds. Prune tips of oldest branches every other March. Harvest when berries soften and drop easily in early June. The reason honeyberry got overlooked is simple. The 1960s USDA honeyberry programs shifted to hybrid blueberries for wider sales, dropping Zone 3 natives from national nursery networks. It's like the first sweet bite of summer from a frost-proof blue tube. Number 9. Black chokeberry, the superfood sleeper. The USDA trialed aronia in 2005 as a native superfood crop for Midwest farms, overlooked by Big Ag. Aronia melanocarpa, the black chokeberry, spotlights Viking selected in 1980 at the University of Denmark's research station. See a 4 to 6 foot suckering shrub with glossy oval leaves turning scarlet in fall, umbels of white flowers buzzing with bees, and heavy bunches of shiny black berries like dark blueberries. Fruits cram with anthocyanin pigments up to 1,480 mg per 100 grams, shielding cells and pumping tart superjuice. Cornell University Cooperative Extension Bulletin CCE 1403 from 2019 measures Viking at 20 pounds per mature plant in Zone 4 field tests. Suckers establish in 1 year. First, harvest year 2. Full loads by year 4, with bushes thriving 30+ years. Plant bare root whips 5 feet apart in rows 10 feet wide. Till soil to 12 inches deep at pH 5.0 to 6.5. Add 4 inches pine bark mulch. Irrigate 1 gallon per plant weekly first season. Mow between rows yearly like a lawn. Coppice every 5 years to 6 inches high in dormant season. Shake or clip clusters when berries wrinkle slightly in September. The reason aronia got forgotten is simple. Post-World War II fruit breeders at land-grant universities fixated on shipping tough apples and grapes, tagging aronia as too astringent for fresh markets, despite jam supremacy. Think of it as your backyard antioxidant arsenal hiding as wildlife fodder. But here's the thing about these native powerhouses. They're designed to handle whatever your climate throws at them. Number 8. Jostaberry, the thornless hybrid champion. Jostaberry isn't a true berry. It's a thornless powerhouse cross of black currant and gooseberry, unveiled in 1977. Ribes times Nidigrolaria, the Jostaberry, stars the cultivar Josta released that year by the Max Planck Institute in Germany. Imagine an upright 5 to 6 foot bush with glossy black-green lobed leaves like currants, drooping clusters of greenish-white flowers, and shiny black berries swelling to grape size by summer. Tetraploid chromosomes, 48 per cell, from its hybrid parents boost vigor and disease walls. This shrugs off mildew and rust that plague parents while piling on fruit. Penn State Extension Fact Sheet UK 1 from 2012. Logs Josta at 18 pounds per bush in Zone 5 demonstrations. Cuttings root in 4 to 6 weeks at 65 degrees. Bushes fruit lightly year 2. They explode to full yield by year 3 and produce for 15 to 20 years on renewals. Take 6-inch hardwood cuttings with 3 buds in winter. Dip in rooting hormone. Plant ½ inch deep in pots with peat sand mix. Transplant to 5 feet apart in full sun clay loam pH 6.2 to 6.8. Mulch 2 inches deep. Top dress with 2 pounds compost per bush in spring. Prune to 8 to 10 strong canes post-harvest. Strip clusters when berries blacken and soften in July. The reason Jostaberry got overlooked is simple. After 1980s, U.S. import bans on ribe species for white pine blister rust, hybrid Jostaberries got lumped with quarantine currants and vanished from big box garden centers. It's like currant flavor with gooseberry guts in a no-thorn package. Number 7. Gumi, the nitrogen-fixing space food. Gumi has nitrogen-fixing power and quick yields. Elaeagnus multiflora, the Gumi, includes the cultivar Sweet Scarlet, bred in 1957 at the Kyiv Botanical Garden in Ukraine. Envision a 6 to 10 foot arching shrub with silvery leaves speckled in grey dots, silvery tubular flowers in spring, and clusters of tart sweet red berries dusted with silver scales. Actinorhizal nodules on its roots host Frankia bacteria that capture atmospheric nitrogen, pumping 50 to 100 pounds per acre into the soil yearly to fuel massive fruit loads. Oregon State University Extension Service Trial, PNW 677 from 2015, reports Sweet Scarlet hitting 15 pounds per bush in Zone 6 plots. Seeds germinate in 21 to 28 days at 70 degrees soil temp. First fruits appear 2 years after planting. Full crops arrive by year 3 on established plants living 25+ years. Sow seeds 1/4 inch deep spaced 12 feet apart. Inoculate with Frankia slurry from a nursery packet. Plant in full sun with sandy loam pH 6.0 to 7.5. Fertilize lightly with 1 ounce 10-10-10 per plant yearly. Train as an espalier on wires 6 feet apart. Thin, crowded branches in late winter. Pick berries when they sweeten and speckle fully in June. The reason Gumi got sidelined is simple. Commercial nurseries since the 1970s pushed high-nitrogen synthetic fertilizers and non-fixing ornamentals, sidelining Gumi's free fertilizer routes from catalogs. Think of it as a berry-loaded fertilizer factory for your veggie patch. Alright, let's keep going because we're just getting to the really spectacular ones. If you're finding value in these forgotten varieties, hit that like button and subscribe for more heritage gardening secrets. Number 2 produces what might be the most beautiful harvest in this entire list: translucent ruby jewels that glow like stained glass. Number 6. High bush cranberry, the jam factory hedge. Picture those old New England farmwives in the 1940s, turning wagon loads of high bush cranberry into ruby red jam that lasted through harsh winters. Viburnum trilobum, the high bush cranberry, features the cultivar Hecker, selected in 1920 by the New York State Fruit Testing Association for its heavy crops. Picture a shrub 8 to 12 feet tall with 3-lobed maple-like leaves turning fiery red in fall, flat clusters of white lace-cap flowers, and translucent red berries hanging like ornaments. These berries pack drupes with a single hard stone inside each, mimicking true cranberries in flavor, while the plant's fibrous root system taps deep moisture for steady output. University of Minnesota Extension publication FS 1402 from 2018 confirms Hecker yields up to 10 pounds per mature bush in Zone 3 trials planted in spring. Bushes reach harvest size in 3 years, with peak production from year 5 through 20 or more as a long-lived perennial. Dig a hole twice as wide as the root ball. Space plants 8 feet apart in loamy soil at pH 5.5 to 7.0. Mulch with 3 inches of wood chips. Water to keep soil moist for the first summer using 1 inch per week. Prune out oldest stems every 3rd spring after leaf drop. Harvest when berries soften, and birds start pecking in late September. The reason high bush cranberry got forgotten is simple. Post-1950s, USDA breeding programs chased disease-free apples and peaches for supermarket shipping, shoving self-sufficient native shrubs like Viburnum trilobum off extension lists. High bush cranberry offers what it has offered for centuries: your personal jam factory disguised as a privacy hedge. Here's why it works so well. These plants evolved alongside North American weather patterns, not European shipping schedules. Number 5. Elderberry, the dual-season flu fighter. Elderberries aren't true berries but drupes in umbels, fooling folks into skipping their massive flu season loads. Sambucus canadensis, the American elderberry, rules with Adams, selected by the USDA in 1952 at the Illinois Research Station. Picture a 6 to 10 foot multi-stemmed shrub with serrated compound leaves, flat creamy flower heads, and 10-inch umbels of black-purple fruits like grapes on steroids. Production hinges on cyanogenic glycosides in leaves that deter deer, while fruits boast 5 to 7% sambucin for immune punch, drawing bees for self-pollination. Penn State Extension Berry Trial 2018 measured Adams at 12 pounds per bush in Zone 6 plots, with 2 crops yearly from reflowering. Divide root clumps in dormant winter. New plants root in 6 to 8 weeks at 50 to 60 degrees. Flowers year 1 light. Full 12 pounds by year 3 for 20-year vigor. Plant divisions 6 to 8 feet apart. In pH 5.5 to 6.5 moist loam. Full sun to part shade 4 to 8 hours. Top dress 4 inches, compost yearly. Coppice to ground every 3 years for thick stems. Cook berries after 60 to 70 days when droop fully, stems snap clean. The reason elderberry got overlooked is simple. The 1980s organic certifiers like Oregon Tilth flagged raw elderberries for sambunagrin toxins, steering sales to strawberry jams over cooked elder cords. Elderberry delivers what it has delivered since Roman villa gardens: deep, musky abundance in every handful. Number 4. Juneberry, the blueberry imposter. Juneberries masquerade as blueberries, but hail from the serviceberry clan, with 6 times the berry count per bush. Amelanchier alnifolia, the Saskatoon or Juneberry, excels in Northline, released by the University of Saskatchewan in 1988. Imagine a 6 to 8 foot suckering shrub with oval silvery leaves, star-shaped white flowers, and purple-black berries like fat blueberries on 6-inch racemes. Yields soar from C3-C4 intermediate photosynthesis that captures CO2 efficiently in cool climates. plus anthocyanin pigments clocking 300 mg per 100 grams for deep dye and shelf life. USDA ARS Saskatoon Research Center, Report 1992, validated Northline at 15 pounds per mature bush in prairie trials, topping strawberries by tenfold. Plant 2-year container stock in spring. New shoots grow 12 inches in first 30 days at 60-degree soil. Blooms year 2. 15-pound harvests by year 5, lasting 25+ years. Dig 24-inch holes. Amend with 30% pine bark for pH 5.5 to 6.5. Space 8 feet apart or hedge at 5 feet. Full sun 7 hours minimum. Irrigate to 1.5 inches weekly first year. Prune suckers to 5 stems per clump annually. Harvest when birds hit after 40 to 50 days from bloom. The reason Juneberry got sidelined is simple. Post-1940s, the prairie fruit breeding program at Morden shifted to apples for export crates, as per Canadian Horticultural Council logs, bypassing Juneberry thickets for shipped blues. Juneberry offers what it has offered for 10,000 prairie years, clusters of summer's first sweet purple. Number 3. Gooseberry, the spaceberry. Gooseberries have been studied for their non-stop pod-like yields. Ribes uva crispa, the gooseberry, thrives thornless in Hinnonmäki red, bred in Finland at the Pikio Research Station in 1972. See a 4 to 5 foot rounded bush with toothed leaves, drooping pinkish blooms, and pendulous chains of plump red berries striped like tiny watermelons. Berries swell via high pectin content up to 1.2% in skins for firm texture, plus salt-excreting glands that handle clay soils strawberries hate. Oregon State University Extension publication, EC 1639 from 2019, clocked Hinnonmäki red at 12 pounds per bush in Willamette Valley tests, out-yielding locals by 40%. Strike 6-inch softwood cuttings in summer. Roots show in 3 to 4 weeks at 65 to 75 degree media. Fruits set year 2. Full 12-pound loads by year 4 for 12 to 15-year runs. Space bushes 4 to 5 feet apart in pH 6.0 to 7.0 loam. Plant to first bud depth. Full sun 6+ hours or dappled light. Fertilize with 2-4-2 at 1 ounce per foot of height in spring. Net against birds. Pick daily as berries color fully after 50 to 60 days bloom to ripe. The reason gooseberry got forgotten is simple. The European gooseberry mildew quarantine by USDA in 1917, eased only for resistant strains, pushed sellers to thorned imports over smooth American spinners like this. It's like a backyard slot machine spitting red coins all season. Think about that. We traded away plants that have been studied for space cultivation for berries that need constant babying. Number 2. Red currant, the stained glass jewel. Red currants look like ruby currants but pack double the hanging clusters that strawberries never match in one bush. Ribes rubrum, the red currant, stars in Red Lake, selected by the University of Minnesota in 1935. Envision a 5-foot arching shrub with lobed green leaves, tiny greenish flowers, and long strings of translucent red jewels glowing in sun. Fruits form via parthenocarpic tendencies in some flowers, no pollination needed, plus ascorbic acid levels at 41 mg per 100 grams, triple strawberries for tart, zing, and shelf life. Cornell University Extension Bulletin 2020 tested Red Lake in New York trials, yielding 8 pounds per bush in Zone 4 over 3 years, disease-free. Set 12 to 18-inch bare root plants in fall. Buds swell in 10 to 14 days at 50-degree air temp. Fruits ripen 60 to 70 days after May bloom. Peaks at year 4 for 20-year lifespans. Plant in rows 5 feet apart, 30 inches between plants. Soil pH 6.2 to 6.8 with 2 inches compost top dress yearly. Full sun or light shade 4 to 6 hours. Water 1 inch weekly. Thin to 12 canes per bush at planting. Harvest strings intact when clear and plump. The reason red currant got overlooked is simple. Nurseries post-1950 chased strawberry flats for supermarket display units. As noted in American Pomological Society records, ignoring currant strings that bruise in bulk bins. Red currant delivers what it has delivered since monastery gardens, harvesting stained glass jewels from your own fence line. Modern research has caught up in a dramatic way. These plants that our great-grandparents grew are now being studied for compounds that make superfoods look ordinary. Number 1. Black currant, the hidden Victory Garden champion. Grandmas in 1940s, Victory Gardens hid black currant cuttings under porch steps to dodge nosy neighbors during rationing, pulling sweet tart harvests all summer. Ribes nigrum, the black currant, shines in the compact cultivar, Ben Sarek, bred in Scotland at the Scottish Crop Research Institute in 1977. Picture upright, stems to 4 feet tall, with palmate leaves, foamy white flowers in racemes, and clusters of shiny black berries like dark pearls. These bushes pump out fruit through high polyphenol content, especially gamma-decalactone that boosts aroma 10 times over strawberries, drawing pollinators while roots work with soil bacteria for improved soil health. University of Massachusetts Extension Trial 2021 ranked Ben Sarek top for yield in Zone 5 trials, hitting 10 pounds per mature bush with zero irrigation. Plant a bare root 2-year whip in spring. Roots establish in 4 to 6 weeks at 55 to 65 degree soil temp. First heavy crop year 3, then 10 pounds yearly for 15 plus years as a perennial. Dig an 18-inch wide hole. Mix in 20% peat moss for pH 6.0 to 6.5. Space 4 feet apart in full sun 6 to 8 hours daily. Mulch 3 inches deep with wood chips. Prune 20% old canes yearly in late winter. Pick when berries sag fully black after 70 to 80 days from bloom. The reason black currant got forgotten is simple. Post-1970s, the ribes import ban by USDA APHIS, lifted only in 1966 for white varieties, kept black currants off shelves as a white pine blister rust vector, favoring strawberry flats instead. Black currant offers what it has offered since Roman villa gardens: deep, musky abundance in every handful. Here's the bigger picture. These 13 bushes point to something we lost when gardening went mainstream. We traded plants that wanted to thrive for plants that needed constant care. We swapped abundance for convenience. But the good news? These varieties are still out there, waiting in specialty catalogs and heritage collections. If this opened your eyes to what's possible beyond the garden center, hit that like button. Drop a comment below and tell me which berry surprised you the most. Are you team nitrogen fixers like Gumi and sea buckthorn, team dual season producers like elderberry and lingonberry, or team massive yields like black currant and josterberry? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for more forgotten varieties that can transform your backyard. Sometimes the most productive berry bushes aren't in the big box garden centers. Sometimes they're in old farm catalogs and heritage collections, just waiting for you to rediscover what your great-grandparents knew all along.